Okay, I think this is working. I'm trying to see. Hold on. Okay. Oh, that shrunk me really small, but that's fine. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Can everyone see or hear me? Let me see if I can. Okay. Hold on. Let me make this bigger. Thank you for your patience with my technical difficulties because I am queen of that. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Live 14. Okay, it's working. Okay, Stephanie, thank you. Let me write back. Hi. Okay, I'm gonna give you all a few minutes to enter. It's exactly 7:30, so I give you a minute or two in here. Just maybe I should make this a little bigger. Hold on. All right. There it is. Okay. All right, I'm trying to make this bigger while I'm waiting for everyone to join. Why can't I? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's put this down. You sound. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, you heard me say thank you. I don't need to type it. I'll like it. Okay. So I don't want my phone vibrating on the couch. I'm on my love seat in Brooklyn. All right. Hold up. I think we're good. Okay. I'll give it 2 more minutes to let you all get situated in here. Some quick housekeeping. Let me get this a little smaller. Some quick housekeeping. If you have any questions or anything, you can just write it in the chat. I'll try my best to read it and go along. More than likely, I'll just get to it at the end. And also, I'll be reading my notes sometimes. So if you see me looking elsewhere, it's because I'm actually reading something, and then I'll elaborate off of that. But I don't have the best short-term memory, so I just need to write everything out. So please bear with me. I just got booted off of the Graduates of the Last Decade committee because my time just ended. So you can do the math on that. You're more than welcome to. Okay, so I got this here. Okay, let's move this over a bit. Okay. Stephanie. Hi, Melissa. Okay, I'm gonna start. Unless you write no in the next 20 seconds, I'm gonna start. But it's only been 2 minutes of waiting, so I do want to give people time to get in here. And I will say thank you. Thank you to, well, let me get the thank yous out the way then. Thank you to the Alumni Association, Melissa Samuels, and Stephanie Snyder, especially because getting me to use Facebook again has been a challenge. I've been avoiding Facebook for several years now, so I'm kind of back now. So thank you for getting me in here. All right. Okay, I think we're good to start. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. So I'm gonna just go over like my story during and post university, and just so you have some background on me, and then we can get right into the topic, which is tips for a cleaner and greener home. So again, my name is Chanel Campbell. I'm the co-founder of HippyKitten Decor, where we do sustainable interior decorating and professional organizing. We're based in Brooklyn, but based on what's going on right now, it's been a lot of online sort of stuff or working in people's spaces when they're not home. So that's that on that. But backstory on me specifically, 1 second here. Okay, so I attended the university between 2006 and 2010. I was a business major with a marketing and management concentration, of course, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So business just made sense at the time, and I'm glad I did that. And I was also on Res Life. 3 out of my 4 years there, I was a managerial assistant. I was a student assistant for 2 years and managerial assistant my senior year. And I lived on Dutch Quad most of the time at the university. So shout out to Dutch Quad. And I will say that my time at the university was amazing. And that's why I've given up so much of my time and energy over the years since I've left, just to make sure that they know how much I appreciate it and how much I feel the world needs to know about UAlbany. So that's that. So I'm going to use a Seinfeld reference here, which is a yada, yada, yada. And I love Seinfeld. So I'm going to yada over some parts of my career just to make this quicker. But yada, 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 I ended up at NYU where I studied sports business. and I ended up working for the Brooklyn Nets for about 3.5 years or so. I was in the VIP services department where we managed I think I managed between 400 and 600 season ticket holder accounts, which sounds like a lot, but you'll be surprised how well you're able to actually remember every little detail about everyone. If you care enough, I should say. Maybe everyone didn't, but I actually really did for some reason. I would remember more details about their account than my own personal life, which is unfortunate. But anyway, it did teach me a lot about patience, about accommodation, and just people skills and networking and doing that extra thing to make connections with other people and to really build a true relationship. So fast forward, a bunch of yada yadas. I left sports completely, wanted nothing to do with it. Literally don't even watch basketball anymore. That's how much I just wanted something totally different. So I didn't want to spend any more money on school. So I ended up at Crate and Barrel. I figured it'd be smart to have a retail job where I can learn about furniture, materials, textures. In this particular position, I was also able to create mood boards for clients, go to their apartments, take measurements, actually create floor plans, and basically design their home with Crate and Barrel material, furniture and whatnot, furnishings, decor items, etc. And that was the best education I could have ever gotten. And also we met our third business partner. It's my partner in life, Steve. He also makes music, but he's a part of the design business. And then Amelia, she already was doing construction design. She went to design school and everything. So it was serendipitous, I should say. So we started HippyKitten, but besides that, excuse me, individually, as a person, I work for TaskRabbit, separate of my design business with them. And TaskRabbit has been really an amazing opportunity for me to first find clients, of course, also to promote my business and anything that I'm working on, but mainly to, again, foster connections, and also to, honestly, the whole professional organizing thing came from TaskRabbit because I didn't even know that I had it on there as a skill set. I must have put it on there and forgot about it. And then people started hiring me and booking me for that, specifically companies, really just overseeing people's clutter and kind of clutter management. And it's launched off from there. And it's really been rewarding to help people maintain their things. So all that being said, let's get into the talk about a greener home. Now, I'm going to give you a statistic. Now, this statistic is from 2001, but it is still relevant today, and we're going to use it. So it was published by the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, and it says that Americans spend 87% of their time indoors and 6% of their time in a vehicle. Now, excuse me, what is wrong? Let me drink some water. Whether it's true or not really relevant, guys. You know that you're inside a lot. We can all assume that we're inside more than we're outside, especially in areas like New York, where the weather is so volatile, right? You go from home to car, to work, to car, to home. So the time that you're outside is usually under 10 minutes per time, right? I mean, I can say that for myself, but it's not even relevant. What matters is that we're indoors a lot, right? So I say that to say what's in your home is critical with your health, because you're home and you're indoors somewhere a lot. And regarding interior spaces and buildings, we're able to impact our well-being with our choices. We can prevent exposure to toxic chemicals, which I'm going to get into. We can help provide fresh air in our space via plants and other things, again, I'm going to get into. So there are things that we actively put in our home that we have control over that can create that experience and also impact our well-being in a positive way. So with that being said, let's talk about VOCs. So I wanted to give this talk assuming that you know nothing about home furnishings, anything decor, assuming that you've never turned on Pinterest, you've never watched an HGC, you know nothing, right? So if you've never heard of a VOC, it's an acronym. It stands for volatile organic compound. And these are organic chemicals that have a high vapor pressure at ordinary room temperature. They play a significant role in the formation of ozone and fine particulates in the atmosphere. They're also numerous, varied, omnipresent. They're basically everywhere. You can't really avoid things that are in the air, and it's a thing that's in the air kind of situation, right? So there's human-made and there's naturally occurring VOCs. So, for example, if you peel an orange, those oils that spew out, if you've ever seen like a close-up, or if you've ever looked when you've peeled an orange somewhere, like that kind of like looks like a little, like a spray, like a little squirt. Those are essentially VOCs, and actually plants use them as a way to communicate with their environment. So the concept of a VOC is not necessarily a bad thing. However, when we're talking about human-made VOCs, it's a little different. So human-made VOCs, we call the process off or outgassing. Usually off-gassing, you'll hear something off-gases. And that just essentially means the release of these airborne VOCs. That's all it is. The act of it releasing the VOC, right? So where can you find a VOC? And it's more than this, but I'm just giving you some. Paints, stains, glues, paint strippers, any other solvents, aerosol cans. You have your electronics, like your keyboard, your laser printers, your cleansers, right? Your disinfectants, your stored fuels. Also with the paints, like even just the paint can laying around, like that's also not, like having old paint around is actually not a good thing either. Automotive parts, carpeting specifically, rugs off gas as well, but carpeting in particular is pretty bad. Also, it traps lots of dust and all kinds of things. So it's really not the most sanitary thing to have either. But basically that new carpet smell or the new car smell, as much as they smell good to us or not, I mean, I know I like the new car smell. At least I did prior to knowing what it was, and I'll get into that. Even like going to the gas station, I used to enjoy that as well. Those aren't good things. Regarding carpeting can off gas for up to 5 years post installation. So that's a long time of breathing in whatever your items are kicking out, if you don't know, how to take precautions and what to do in your home. So furniture, this may break some of your hearts, because we all love IKEA and the Wayfairs and the Targets and all these different places, but for the most part, it's the particle board, the MDF, the plywood, which is essentially wood chips glued together, right? So this is like the definition of where off-gassing would stem from, right? Because the glue itself is what contains the formaldehyde, and the formaldehyde is a known carcinogen, and it's your star ingredient in embalming fluid. So it's not a good smell. You shouldn't just be sitting there smelling that. And yeah, hold on. I wanted to add something to that, actually. Some carpentry, though, like regarding furniture, that's what I was going to say. You can't, even if you were to get all hardwood everything and just to get like a standard couch, the frame is probably made out of particle board. So you can't completely avoid it. So it's more so about how to mitigate it. I'll continue in explaining what I mean by that here. Oh, and please, if I'm going too fast, I didn't even check. Am I going too fast? If I'm going too fast, let me know. I'll slow down. I do kind of talk fast. Hold on, let me see here in the chat because I can't see anything. Okay. Oh, you're saying uh-oh to what I'm saying. Okay, good. All right. So, low VOC. So I don't know if any of you have seen, like, when you go shopping for paint and some say zero VOC, low VOC, or anything, any of those kind of buzzwords. Along those lines, here's some of the oh my God, common chemicals that are off gas from our household items, right? So we got formaldehyde, ammonia, and toluene. These are found in paints and lacquers. You got benzene. It's also found in something like a nail polish remover. These are just like some of the names. And while off gassing is, like I said, the new carpet smell, the new car smell, some of them are very distinct and overt, and you can't avoid it. You avoid it in the sense that you can't deny that you smell it. Like everybody can smell it. It's something that you all are experiencing. It doesn't have to be the case. So off-gassing could also be like the silent killer. It could be like the concept of carbon monoxide, right? Where you don't smell anything and it can kill you. Like literally that. You have no idea it's off-gassing. Unless, of course, you are aware of what things are made of. So you shouldn't have to smell it to know that it does it, is what I'm trying to say. Now, what are the effects of breathing in VOCs? This is the part that gets complicated because sometimes we just think that, we just have a cold, or we just constantly have allergies, or we just, like, it's just whatever. And things are not just whatever, like ever. Like there's usually always an explanation for something, and we have to assume that that's the case, right? So here's some of the things that can happen as a result of your VOC interactions. eye, nose, and throat irritation, difficulty breathing, coughing, skin irritation, asthma attacks, fatigue, nausea, damage of the central nervous system and some of the other bodily systems. And some people are overtly chemically sensitive, and they actually cannot be around these odors longer than a few minutes. So they actually have had to do the work to make sure that their home is greenified, or however that goes. We know someone who she can only be in like the home goods types of stores, like a Home Depot, for no more than 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, starts to get a headache, her skin starts to get inflamed, and it's due to the high level of off-gassing. And you can imagine how much woods and all types of chemicals and things, and the myriad of paint cans that are going on at Home Depot, and however often they change out their inventory. So we're not making this stuff up. Like, you actually can have a physical reaction to this. Now, before I break down how to mitigate off-gassing and all of this jazz, I want to talk about greenwashing. And it's a bit of a segue, but not really, because I think it's important for us to have an understanding of how to shop in general, because we have to understand that businesses are here to sell things to us, right? So the most important thing is that we buy it. So whatever's on the front of the package, it's to get you to buy it. But whether or not it's good for you, or it's a good decision based on your morals, values, your illnesses, whatever the case is, like, that part's on you. That's the part where you have to turn the back part to you and look and read and get the details of the ingredients so you can actually make an informed decision, because you cannot just trust marketing. Like, if I learned nothing in marketing, it's that, like, yeah, we're just trying to get you to do something. It's a call to action kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing for you specifically, which is fine, right? So greenwashing is crafty marketing. So buzzwords like vegan and plant-based and this and that, and stating things that are obvious. So stating the obvious would be like, if there was a sweet potato in the market and it's like plant-based sweet potato, it's like, it's a potato, like, we know that. So things like that. And marketers will do that, where they'll, something that clearly wouldn't have any animal products, they're like, this is vegan, and it's like, we already knew that though, but it's just a way to encourage you to buy it. Adding green images. First of all, I just want to point out, I have fallen victim to all of these things as recent as maybe a few days ago. So this is not from a place of judgment or anything like that. I am a hardcore, as much as I studied marketing, I still at times believe everything I'm looking at on the front. I still don't take the time, in the past anyway. Now I haven't really been out shopping, but before I definitely would be like, oh, there's a plant on this, that's healthy, and I would just buy it. Don't do that. But adding green images. So plants, green color, brown color. So sometimes you'll see things with like brown packaging and you'll be like, oh my God, you know, like that probably means that it's like, I don't know, some like ground up thing from before and they turned it into something. That doesn't necessarily mean that at all. It could actually just mean that it's brown. Like they just picked something brown. So you can psychologically believe that you're doing a good thing and you'll support it just because of that. Even if you didn't read a single thing on the package to know one way or the other, right? So yeah, don't fall for that. Just don't fall for the color of a bottle or anything on the front. You still need to turn it around to the back is basically the point. And last but not least, labels that don't actually mean anything. And for this example, I'm going to give the term biodegradable. So when you buy something that says biodegradable, you're thinking, oh, you know, biodegradable, like, you know, this was already here and like they're reusing something that was here already. And I'm not a part of all the, you know, excessive stuff in the landfill and I'm doing a good thing. But here's the catch. It's not specific, right? So plastic is also biodegradable because plastic will break down. It's just that it will break down in 400 years and none of us have ever lived to see plastic break down. So every single piece of plastic ever made is still here with us. So we need to get like very specific and find out like what they mean by these things. Because if it's not something that like, you know, was made from, you know, some previous material and you got all the details with the process, just don't believe that word. Like that word is not enough for you to make an informed decision is my point. Also, I wanted to bring up a did you know in this part too, because unless if you're looking for anything, for example, this is an example of greenwashing. If you're concerned with, animals and making sure that there's no animal cruelty or whatever, if you see packaging that just says the words cruelty free, it does not necessarily mean anything. In fact, it probably literally doesn't mean anything. Or it could, and they're just being cheap. But basically, companies would need to pay X amount of dollars, hundreds, thousands, I don't know how much, to these specific companies with that bunny logo. Those are the companies that are actually doing whatever work to qualify a company to say whether or not they actually are cruelty free. So they actually are allowed to just write cruelty free and that not necessarily be true. So just something to be aware of. The moral of the story there is just to always read the ingredients. It's very important if you want to truly know what's in whatever you're purchasing. So in conclusion, I'm going to break down how we can reduce our exposure within our home, right? So it's great to talk about what these things are and all these names, but if we don't know how to fix it, or at least how to cut it down to some degree while we're home, then there's no point, right? So first, this one's a tricky one. So you're going to want to conduct a home inventory to determine possible sources of VOCs. Now, we wrote here, whenever possible, dispose of it safely, but the thing is, it's a bit of a tough call with that because we still aren't quite sure how to dispose of something safely when it kind of being here, period, isn't safe in and of itself to some extent. And there's really no safe, quote unquote, way officially to get rid of things that shouldn't be here in the first place, like plastic and blah, 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 other than just turning it into something else. So I take that with a grain of salt. We're forever doing research. Every one of us should forever be doing research on what that means, right? Choosing unscented products whenever possible. So I tend to, in recent years, I stopped using like the Tides and like those, major brand detergents. And I pretty much only use detergents that have no scents. And then I add essential oils and whatnot. And I also made the switch over to soy and beeswax candles, mostly soy candles. If I see a beeswax candle, if it's on sale, I'll grab it. But for the most part, I stick with soy candles. And I want to break the soy candle and the candle phenomenon down because that's another thing that off gases in our home. Paraffin, which is what most standard candle wax is made of, is a petroleum waste product and has to be deodorized and chemically bleached before it can be made into wax. Most candles are made of paraffin wax, which creates highly toxic carcinogens. Once again, that benzene and toluene that I mentioned when it's burned. And actually, those are basically like diesel fuel fumes. That's essentially where they're also found. So to think that you're trying to get your home to be zen and peaceful and you want it to smell like a giant coconut, but it also smells like diesel fuel, that's kind of off-putting. And I say those two examples of myself personally to say I have made that switch. And because I've made that switch, if I smell like other people's laundry that has like an aggressive like Tide smell, like I start coughing. Like I actually have become sensitive to it now that I've removed it. So it is important to examine everything. I mean, I'm not saying you need to make any particular switch, but it's something to consider, once you're more informed. Okay. Read the product labels and choosing no or low VOC products, which we basically already touched on. And then purchasing used. So, here's the thing. In our business, we focus on sustainable design, specifically like vintage furniture, used furniture, and mainly that's because of avoiding, there's just so much excess furniture and people dumping things that end up in the landfill. So that's reason one. But reason two is because when you buy vintage, when you buy something that has been in existence for like 20, 30 years, even 10 years, like it already did its off-gassing process. And I hope that person that had it did all the right things to mitigate that in their home. But you don't necessarily know the whole storyline, but what you do know is that already happened. So you're at least safe from this particular item to some degree in comparison to a brand new item. Well, not to some degree, actually, pretty much you are, because like the off-gassing, it's a process. At some point it levels off and then it's not off-gassing anymore. I think like I mentioned, the rugs, it's 5 years or something like that. It's different for every item, but we should just assume that things can always be off-gassing and be taking the precautions. Regarding new furniture, if you make sure that you're seeing any components that are certified by Green Guard, Scientific Certification Systems, or SGS Group. These are 3 organizations that approve of sustainable and low emitting products. So you want to know that if you're going to buy something new, that the company took the time and spent the money to invest in ensuring that their product is safe for the home, right? Whether or not you do all the things you need to do. Another way to mitigate this is choosing solid wood furniture. Obviously, it's going to be better. It's going to be better than your particle board. So yes, of course, get IKEA sometimes. Get, that's fine. You can't always avoid it. But know that when you're buying something that's solid wood, you're definitely inherently not dealing with as much VOCs, because the only VOC you would be worried about is whatever it was coated with. Whereas the MDF, the particle board, the wood chip situation, it's the whole thing. Like it's an entire event of off-gassing. And even with the solid wood furniture, you can actually still prevent that by just painting it with the sealant that stops that, which I'll tell you about a brand that we use shortly. But you can even mitigate that straight up, and it would just be a good piece to have in your home, and you wouldn't have to worry about it off-gassing. So it's worth it to buy solid wood. Also, it's really nice to have vintage pieces that have stories. We've moved into that space in the last few years where people are more interested in the story of the things that come in their home. That's why the DIY wave has been such a thing. Like people want to be a part of the process, or to say like, hey, I made this thing, or hey, like that was made by, 3 women in a particular place, or whatever the case is. So we like to story tell with our furniture more than ever. So that'll continue to be a thing. Removing wall-to-wall carpeting, as I mentioned, is one of the biggest offenders for the VOC emissions, and with trapping dust and all that jazz, mold. If you don't want to get rid of carpet completely, though, wait, what's going on? Hold on, something's wrong. We're having trouble playing. What? I don't know what that means. Okay, am I not being seen or heard here? I don't know what that means. I love the chat. Hold on. Wait, what is happening? Are you able to see me? Can you see or hear me? Is anyone? I don't know, because all I see a black screen now, so I'm not too sure what that means on my end. I'm wrapping up though. I am wrapping up. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see me. I guess if you couldn't, you would say something. I'm gonna hope and assume, and I'll just keep going. Because I'm almost done here. Regarding rugs though, so I have a little quick rug story for you. We had a rug here in the room, and we wanted to. I go crazy sometimes and want to clean it outside and like put it in the backyard and let the sun beat down on it, and it's a whole thing. Prior to me even realizing this was a good thing regarding combating the VOC emission. And in any event, I forgot what the rug was made out of. It was actually, I was thinking it was a wool rug. It was actually like a polypropylene rug, which is essentially plastic. And so I was like, oh, this is smart. I don't like the middle part. I'm going to bleach it. I don't know why I did that. So I grabbed bleach, just threw it on the middle. And there was, you can see and hear me. Okay, good. And there was a really bad chemical reaction. And there was this awful, putrid, burning plastic smell is the best way that I can describe it. And Steve put it down in our room, and I literally went to bed and woke up with a headache. It was that intense. Like I couldn't believe it. So we put it outside and tried a whole nother thing, and it still did not work. So we ended up having to buy a new rug, also made out of the same material. But I did some research on it because I got a great deal on it, and I unfortunately couldn't pass it up. But I did do some research, and I found that heat actually helps to expedite the off-gassing process. So again, it's kind of the whack-a-mole situation, because my rug was outside beaten in the sun and kicking out all its off gas out there. So I probably like ruined the ozone layer while I was trying not to have that issue inside my room. So I can't say that that's the best thing to do, but I will say that it does help to expedite the process in terms of bringing it into your home. And then once it's in your home, we should always try to keep windows open and cracked and all that jazz. Last but not least, plants. Plants. I do not have a green thumb. I will say that here, and I feel like I shouldn't say that because I'm kind of like confirming to the universe that I will never have one. But that's not true. I will master it at some point, but I have yet to master it. My mom and Steve, they are like superstar growers. But I'm not. But I will tell you of some plants that are great for combating off-gassing. I'm just going to name you three so we're not here all day with it. But aloe vera of South Africa, snake plant, which is also known as mother-in-law's tongue, which I found out maybe 20 minutes ago or 20 minutes before I started this. I never heard that. But anyway, it's from West Africa. They've both been shown to clear the benzene and the formaldehyde, which is the same bad ones we've been talking about. Those are carcinogens. But these plants are specifically good because they actually release oxygen and they absorb carbon dioxide at night. So they're doing exactly what we need. They're pulling out the bad air and giving us the good air. I mean, they're literally air purifiers in a pot. I mean, it's amazing. And also, like, those are, I believe, aloe vera too. They're both desert plants to my knowledge. So they're very, very simple to take care of. I've yet to kill a snake plant. I've killed many succulents and various other plants, unfortunately, but I did not kill a snake plant. So that's a good thing. And also aloe vera has great medicinal properties. I use it on my skin. My parents use it in smoothies and stuff like that as well. The only thing I'm going to say with snake plants specifically, and any plant that I mention here, and whenever you do research on plants, if you are a pet lover and you have a pet, do beware of that. I will say this, speaking from my own personal experience. Please do not go post this somewhere and say that Chanel told you that you can have a snake plant and a cat. Don't say that. But I will say this. Snake plants apparently are on the list of plants that are super toxic for cats. But I've had this cat for she's been around for like 16 years or something, 12 years. So she's been around for long enough, at least 2008, I think. Something like that. Anyway, she's been here for a long time and she's eaten her share of plants, but she never touches these specific plants for whatever reason. So I don't know if that means that they're off-gassing in a way that communicates to cats, like, don't touch me. I'm not really sure, like, the whole cat snake plant situation. So I won't tell you explicitly to get a snake plant anyway if you have a cat. I can tell you, though, from my own personal experience and Amelia, our business partner's experience, that we never had issues with our pets eating the plant that they're not supposed to eat. So, well, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to be liable for anything. And then also spider plants. They're also originated in Africa. They're a flowering perennial. They remove smog, formaldehyde, benzene, and also xylene, which is found in auto exhaust and synthetic perfume and paint. And synthetic perfume, that's a pretty unfortunate one. And there was a NASA study that found that this plant can remove 96% of carbon monoxide, which is that silent killer one I think I mentioned earlier. And also 99% of the nitrogen dioxide within a sealed container. So that's huge. Like if you lock yourself up with those plants, they'll clean the air for you. Is what that basically means. It looks like they're easy to grow in various types of environments. I've never had this spider plant, but I've heard good things about it. It says they prefer medium to bright light and avoid extended amounts of direct sun in case you wanted to know how to care for it. The snake plant, aloe plants, they pretty much can still survive even if you don't take too much care of them, but don't not take care of them. I just mean like you don't have to water them every day or anything like that. They can survive with some neglect. And with that being said, products that we use. So we use this particular brand called AFM Naturals. They have extensive product knowledge, first of all. They have extensive knowledge on like this whole industry. So they're definitely a very good one. They have like a blog and everything. Matter of fact, some of this information came from their blog as well. It was actually originally formulated for physicians to meet needs of chemically sensitive patients. So I don't know if any of you have seen, what is it? It is a special on Netflix called Afflicted. And one of the people in the story, she's chemically sensitive extremely to the point that she can only be in a supermarket for like under 10 minutes as well. And she's in there with a hat, like the lights, she can't deal with any of it. So it really truly is a thing. And anything that is made for chemically sensitive people is definitely going to be good for you. Because just because you don't react immediately and overtly doesn't mean that it's not affecting you. Things have long-term effects all the time. We know that. So, and regarding other products that we use, we also use Safe Coat paint and sealers. We use Safe Coat to paint over an old item for one of our clients. And it's a great it's a great brand because what their products are meant to do is actually to stop the off-gassing process. So how I was mentioning before, for example, if you had some wood and you sanded it down and like coated it with something that prevented the off-gassing, that would be literally what that is. Although I guess sanding it, well, yeah. No, that's correct. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So Safe Coat is a good brand, and we use it for that. And like I mentioned, it's good for sealing in the formaldehyde off gassing, and also it's just a good thing to have in general, especially like if you find a vintage piece and you just want to be safe and you want to just coat over it just in case. Use it. It's designed literally for that. It's designed to make things that already exist safer. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, well, actually, I'll read through these questions. Let me go through here. But you're welcome. Well, I'll conclude what I'm saying, then I'll read the questions. If you have any further questions or if you want to connect with me, our Instagram is at HippyKitten Decor, HIPPY kitten and decor spelled as they are. People mix it up with happy kitten sometimes, so I thought I'd spell out the hippie part. And that's that on that. But let me read the questions. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Hello, Rachel. Okay. Yes, they're super easy to grow. Yes. Yes, Melissa, get some aloe. That's amazing. Yes. Okay, good. And Melissa's going to rip out her carpet, everyone. We all saw it here first. I wish I could grab a screenshot of that. Do you recommend any specific paint brands for low or no VOC? Yes. There is a brand that we absolutely love. It's a Black-owned woman business called Claire Paint, Clare. We shout them out on Instagram all the time. We're actually using them on a project that is on pause because of what's going on now. But the only thing I will say with the whole VOC conversation is you still always want to do deeper due diligence. But that particular brand, they took the time and spent the money and invested in getting all the certifications to make sure that it is as safe as it can possibly be for your home. But I don't care. I still want the window open, and I still think that plants should be in there. So it doesn't matter what VOCs it says or it doesn't say. I still always say we should be doing the other things to combat it just in case. But yes, a brand like that takes the time and they care and they deliver. They're amazing, and they're really good company. So maybe I should write that in here so you can see it. I think I got everything. I don't see other questions, but thank you all so much. Stephanie, you're funny. Thank you all so much for the time. I'm going to start using Facebook more, so feel free to reach out to us on Facebook too. You can also email us at inspire@hippykittenDecor.com, inspire@HIPPYKittenDecor.com. And that's all. So everyone have a good evening, and thank you so much. Let me figure out, how to blow this up though and X out. Can't miss an opportunity to be awkward. All right. Thank you all. Have a good one.